Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Good afternoon and welcome to the show. I'm Deacon John. The title for today's show is going to be Foster Parents. My guest for today is going to be Alex Stradling.
Good to be here.
Good afternoon, Alex. Yeah. We go back a long way.
Yeah,
Sacred Heart Church.
That's right.
So, being altar servers with your brothers and my son Tim. Just curious, why did you and your wife want to become foster parents?
Well, it was originally my wife was the one that was offered the suggestion to be foster parents. Of course, I was like, I don't really want to do that, you know. Right. She had a friend that did some fostering. Plus, in her, her home life with her mother wasn't that great. So she understands, and she was in foster care for a little bit there. But so there was, in her heart always some sort of need to kind of want to help people out.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
and that's how I got into it,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So any particular age group or situations that you were involved in because you want to be a foster parent? Or?
No. I mean, it just was. We decided let's do it, and so how it works, just for people out there that are considering about it. I mean, the reality is that there's all different ages that need a foster home.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, as a foster parent, it's, when you're providing a foster home, you're providing a safe place for the child in the community, because what they try to do is when a child gets taken away from the home, they try to maintain some consistency in the child's life.
Mm-hmm.
And that being, being in the same town, going to the same school. So you're basically, you don't really have control over what type of age group that you're getting. You just get a phone call and said, hey, we have these children here that are this age, and
mm-hmm.
They go to this school, and
right.
Would you be able to take them in?
Right,
so.
right. So, yeah, like you say, I mean, depending on the background of the child, I mean, from some situations, it's really a dire need to separate them from their parents.
It is, yeah. I mean, for the time being, yeah. I mean, the kind of the misconception out there is that it's a tough situation. It's a tragic situation for everyone involved. So you're going right into the lion's den,
right.
I mean, and a lot of the cases, it's unfortunate. It's just poverty and drug addiction,
mm-hmm.
and it's not necessarily that there's any extreme abuse going on or anything like that. It's,
right.
It's because you can't afford to take care of their children, and then also if there's a drug addiction, that's most of the cases that
right.
The addiction has taken over and has caused them to put their children at risk.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not a good situation all the way around. Not only for the folks that get their child taken away, that
right.
not only are they struggling with addiction or any problems that they have, but the child itself, they're suffering another trauma being taken away. They may not necessarily have any ill will or ill thoughts or
right.
towards their either parent or parents,
right.
And
right.
But they need a place. They need a place to stay. They need some consistency in their life during these tragic moments. So you come in as a foster parent to provide that,
mm-hmm.
and I mean, there's nothing. You're not going to get anything in return. Only the fact that that you're just providing that place for the child until the courts can adjudicate, if the child's going to go back home or not.
Right.
And
right.
that's a long process in itself.
Yeah.
So.
Now, are there any stipulations for these people, for like you and your wife, to become foster parents? I mean, they just can't pick out anybody
Yeah.
to handle.
Well, the stipulation is that that the place that you're living is up to code.
Yeah.
That's key. That you have smoke alarms, CO2 alarms. That there's no any sort of dangerous. That you're not living in a sort of a dangerous living environment.
Right. Yeah.
And that you do a background check. Obviously, you can't have any major major felonies or anything
Right.
like that. So I think those are kind of the stipulations, and then you go through a series of classes that you're required to take prior. You can foster a kid at the time temporarily. They can give you, depending on the need. If there's a huge need for foster parents, they'll give you a temporary license to foster, and then you're required to take classes. So you got to take classes to get your foster parent license.
I see.
Once you
Now,
complete those.
how often are the licenses renewed, or
You renew. I
up to
think you
date?
renew them every. I don't know. My wife knows the answer, but it's probably, I think, every 2 to 5 years around
5
there.
years, okay.
I think we just had to renew, so I believe it's every 5 years
Every
that you
5
renew
years.
your license.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Now, in regards to you're bringing the child in from somebody else and into your home now, there are expenses to this. So, are there reimbursements for becoming a foster parent?
they do. You do get paid a certain amount of money per child.
Right.
It's just enough money to cover the cost of the child. It's not really a. Some people think that it's kind of a money making opportunity for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, you don't make any money off of it, especially the time involved. With the child. I mean, obviously, you're receiving a kid within. When they make the phone call, within 24 hours.
Right.
So again, your life changes and your schedule changes within 24 hours. You have new appointments to make, new doctor's appointments, a new school to take the kid to, a new routine to try to get the kid adjusted to. So there's a lot of work involved in that. Now there are folks that take in many kids because they have the space for it, and then they're able not to have to. They don't have to work. They can work part time or not work. Yeah. But again, you're taking care of 4 to 5 kids in and out, and that's, as anyone knows, that's a job within itself.
That's right, exactly.
Especially kids with a lot of trauma issues, because of the situation that they're in.
Right. Now, in regards to your situation, how many children do you have right now that are?
Currently we don't have any children right now. We're taking a little break from.
Okay, but how many have you had in the past up to?
I think like 4 to 5.
4 to 5 kids at a time?
Not at a time.
Okay.
It depends on the size of your home and how many bedrooms you have.
Okay, so individually.
We could usually take. We were authorized. They authorize you to take 2 kids. That's what we had the space for.
Okay.
So they go and do a home inspection, and they say, well, you can take in this many kids if you wanted to. So.
Now, in regards to situations with each individual child, I mean, they can present a problem with each child has something that's they're involved in, that is bothering them, I should say. I know.
Yeah.
He's had different problems.
Yeah.
So you have to handle that in each.
Yeah, you have to.
In the case and like that. So.
You have to try to handle that. Yeah, and that's what I say. I mean, I mean, it's also to encourage people, if they want to do something, if they feel like this is something that they want to do. I mean, this is the most. You're walking into a lion's den. There's a lot of, not just the child, but there's a lot of, the child is usually from the community. You probably also know the family members that are involved, even extended family members, grandparents and aunts and uncles and so on and so forth.
Right.
And you got to leave your judgment at the door. I mean, because you're just taking in the kid during the adjudication process till they figure out where the child's going to go, whether it be a family member, whether it be another parent, whether the parent is going to do the things needed.
Right.
And the child themselves, they have trauma issues.
Right.
Not only maybe they had instability in their home life,
yeah.
But also now that they're having a major transition, they were pulled away from what they knew into a totally new environment, and that's can be hard to manage at first. I mean, the key is to provide that consistency for the child. The difficult part is as a foster parent is you can't give the child any solid answers on anything. Like, is this where I'm staying for good? No, I don't know. I don't have that answer for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When am I going to go back to my folks? I don't know. It depends on, whether or not the state. So for the child, it's a time of uncertainty, even though you're trying. So the difficult, it's like a catch-22.
Yeah.
There's no certain. That's the struggle. There's no certainty. I can't give any child any certain answers on where he's going to be.
No concrete answers here.
I can just tell him he's here now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and then you want to bring normalcy and consistency in their life with the routine, because that's important for a child, and have those needs taken care of.
Right.
But on the bigger picture and the bigger issues, you can't provide any solid answers. So that's the challenge. That's the challenge.
Now, have you in the past had any situations where the parents or grandparents or any other relatives try to get involved with you in regards to the child, or they have to stay away, or?
Well, no, it's always a fluid situation. It depends on the situation. I mean, oftentimes you are going to have to work with the parents or folks or extended family members that are involved.
Right.
You have parenting meetings with the parents, with DCF.
Right.
So that's why I think it's key. You got to leave your judgment at the door. I mean, people make mistakes, things happen, and you don't want to get you got to have compassion, and you're making these sacrifices, and you're not going to get. You know what I mean? What's the return?
Right.
Like, you don't expect a return, and people may be angry. You may just become a target because you have their child.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Because they're angry. Because folks are angry. They're upset. It's a very tragic situation for them.
Yeah.
And so there's that aspect of it too, and it's you got to leave judgment at the door, and you got to try to do the best that you can to try to help assist the child. And not only that, but if you're working with the parents or extended family members, to be understanding and try to maintain those relationships that are needed. Because the child may go back.
Yeah.
And you don't want to put any ill will in the child's mind about things, or you don't want to, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because when they go back, if something's said about their parents, then that's going to be in their mind. They're going to think about it. And it's going to come up, conversation or whatever. So is this a state thing that you're involved in, or is it a county thing, or?
It's a state program.
State program. Okay. Yeah.
And and with any bureaucracy, it's things can move slowly and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, right.
So you have to, be prepared for that too.
Right. Within the town of Rockingham, village of Bells Falls, and county of Windham, how do you know any other individuals that are involved in foster parenting?
Yeah, I know a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of folks that, and I didn't realize were fostering until I started fostering. But
right. Yeah. Now, do you, as foster parents, ever get together for meetings that you can share information with on how things go, or
they do
situations you find yourself in, or
so DCF, and they do provide like group meetings and stuff like that for foster parents to meet up and talk about things. I guess there's also that's not sponsored by the Department of Children and Families, other foster parenting groups, but and I think some people are involved. We never really got involved with those. It can be difficult because while you're in it, we're not doing fostering like anymore because we're taking a break. Because usually what happens is you got to prep yourself if you want to do it. Is once you start taking a child and the other child leaves, they're on the phone calling you up for another child. So it can just be a rolling. You have to be prepared to be adaptable and make changes while you're doing that. And so sometimes it's good, even if, as a foster parent, to take a break and say, no, I'm not going to take any more kids for a couple of years. I need to be able to control my life and be able to say, instead of adapting to other needs right away. It's not like when you have your own kid where you can slowly transition into these different, from a toddler, from a newborn to a toddler to first day of school to teenage years, while you're foster parenting, you're going to get that toddler, and then next thing it's going to be a teenager, and then the next thing it's going to be, so you're just transitioning back and forth between different points in child's lives.
But the other thing is, bringing up your own child is a lot different than bringing up somebody else's child.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you have to use almost two sets of rules in some ways in order to
absolutely,
there's different. They can't tell you how you can bring up your own child, but they can have stipulations or specific reasons why they want you to work on this particular child that you brought into your own home to whatever, right?
Yeah, you can't, there's things that obviously you can't do with your own child, and then there's not that bond there right away. That you have to work at over time. You
have to work at a trusting relationship.
Yeah, so. And then you have to consider the needs of where the child came from before. What cultural things, people have different ways. They're still the child of the, while you're the foster parent, they're still the child, they're in state's custody, but the parents still have parental rights until they get terminated. Yeah, right. And they may not be terminated. So that's why they have the parenting meetings, is also to have discussions about what the child's needs are, so that the parent can have some input to how their child's being raised during this time period. Okay. So
the parent and the foster parent.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty interesting. I know that we discussed this in the past, and this is my first show for a few months, I guess, and I want to get back into it. And I figured that the quickest way to get a guest is to talk to you. Because you're here either way. And like that, but I appreciate you coming on. I don't know how much more time we have. We have time, whenever we get time, or.
I'd just like to say for folks considering, definitely consider it if you want to do your part. The thing is, it's challenging, and I think the things that challenge you to your core on every single level are the things that make you grow. Yeah. Or the things that make you become a better person.
Right, yeah.
I can't. The challenges of fostering have been one of the greatest challenges in my life.
Right.
And it's never, you're not going to get this feeling of like, that feeling like you did something good or whatever. You're being challenged at every single level. There's a lot of different challenges, but I think it's worth it. It's worth it in the end. There is a need, so if anyone chooses to do it, just be ready for the challenges.
Yeah. So if anybody is interested in becoming a foster parent, there must be information out there they can contact in order for them to get involved in the program.
Yeah, absolutely. I would. You just go to the Department of Children and Families, and on their website they would have information on how to.
State of Vermont.
State of Vermont. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, state of Vermont.
Okay, good. Yeah, and so, like I say, there must be a outlet down here that's involved with the state of Vermont that you can contact, or.
Yeah, it's a Brattleboro office.
Oh,
Brattleboro Springfield office. I think it's Brattleboro that handles Rockingham. So.
Okay, was there initials for that or something, or is that involved in HRCS or something, whatever it's called?
No. It's I know HCRS has different.
Yeah, HRS. Yeah.
They're like a private, not government.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Meaning they're like a major contractor for the government, but HCRS doesn't handle. Child cases in terms of like children being taken away from the family. They handle I think folks with disabilities and stuff like that.
I see. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about? We got a few more minutes, or?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on and talking about this. And like I said, this is the first show I've done in, I think since, I don't remember, October or so, or even September. And I got to try to get myself into gear. Probably do a few more.
Absolutely.
If I can. But I enjoy, talking with you and doing the shows, and I appreciate the fact that you're willing to do this. Come right to my home and film it. It's easier for me, and I know sometimes we got to work out the schedule where everybody can get together.
Yeah.
But just want to say that for everybody that's been watching the show, hope that you get some information on this new show that we just recently did. And hopefully, if things go good, I can do a few more, in the future. Get some candidates lined up, and guests lined up, and bring them on. So for all my guests, hope you enjoyed the show, and until we meet again, may Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.